Freedom for Women Act, hoping to finally put women's health care decisions up to them once and for all. I thank Senator Murray for leading this bill and every single female senator on our side for co-sponsoring it. And the resolution asks some very simple questions. Where do senators stand on freedom of choice? Do we believe a woman should have a basic right to health care? Do we agree that the rights protected under Roe should be protected under federal law? Of course, Democrats have made it abundantly clear where we stand. Yes, we emphatically believe that women should be free to make their own health care choices. All year long, Senate Republicans have shown everyone how out of touch they are with the mainstream. Senate Republicans have shown that for all their attempts to sound moderate on reproductive care, when it comes time to vote, they will choose MAGA extremism over the Republican people. When Senate Republicans blocked federal protections for contraceptives, they chose MAGA extremism over the American people. This is no surprise. This is no mistake. They did the same thing when they blocked federal protections for IVF. They chose MAGA extremism over the American people. And when Donald Trump announced he would nominate hard-right justices to the Supreme Court for the explicit purpose of overturning Roe, these same Senate Republicans enthusiastically voted to confirm them. Not once, not twice, 3 times. So make no mistake, the MAGA hard rights attacks on women aren't done. First it was abortion, then contraception, then IVF. What's next? If they get the chance, they will push for their ultimate goal of a national abortion ban. That's why voting on legislation protecting access to these things, like contraception and IVF, was so important, and that's why affirming a woman's fundamental right to choose is so important as well. Let me turn it over to Patty.
Well, Republicans are desperately trying to rewrite their abortion record. Donald Trump, a convicted felon and a liar, is trying to tell us he doesn't know anything about Project 2025, the playbook that was written by some of his top advisors. He may as well be saying he has no idea who named Trump Tower. We all know Donald Trump ended Roe v. Wade. We all know Republicans championed that for decades, and we know that Trump will absolutely ban abortion nationwide. Remember when he said he had no health care plan over and over again? And there was no plan, just a push to tear down the ACA and rip away coverage for millions. Pay attention to what they do, not what they say. And we have all seen the horrific fallout because of Donald Trump's actions. Women denied abortion care even when their health is at stake, forced to travel thousands of miles for care, and dragged through a pregnancy against their will. No one is going to forget, especially when Republicans continue to stand with the most radical anti-abortion extremists at every turn. I'm not just talking about voting against restoring Roe. Republicans here in Congress signed briefs against medication abortion and abortion for medical emergencies. They have supported extreme fetal personhood bills and opposed the right to birth control and IVF. Where does it end? Is there a right they will not trample on for anti-abortion extremists? Today, we are going to see if we can protect a woman's right to cross state lines for health care, to protect a doctor's right to provide legal care to any patient that comes to them, again in states where abortion is legal, and ensure more health professionals can get critical training in comprehensive reproductive health care, which can save lives. This is basic, common sense stuff, so the response should be pretty telling. After all, how are Republicans going to pretend they think it should just be state politicians overruling women, already in extreme position, by the way? But how do you say that and then have no problem with targeting doctors in states like mine where abortion is legal, or trapping women who would travel out of state for care. If Republicans block these bills today, I don't know how they are going to try and explain that away. But I can tell you right now, it is not going to work. And finally, tomorrow, we will vote on the Reproductive Freedom for Women Act, a bill I introduced alongside every Democratic woman in the Senate and Leader Schumer. Our bill is simple. It is a plain up or down vote on whether you support women being able to make their own reproductive health care decisions. Doesn't force anything, doesn't cost anything. It's a half-page bill saying women should have the basic freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Seriously, that is all it is. So once again, we will see where Democrats and Republicans stand on a very simple question. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Senator Cantwell.
Thank you. It's good to be here with Majority Leader Schumer and my colleague, Senator Murray, and I thank her for her tremendous leadership for a very, very long time on women's reproductive health. 2 years after Dobbs, women are being denied emergency care and life-saving treatment. Hardships are being placed on women and families after they have to travel very long distances to get care, and our healthcare system, even in pro-choice states, are being strained. My office released a snapshot report on the 2-year Dobbs anniversary, and it found that 1 Idaho woman per week is being airlifted across the border just to get emergency abortion care. These are often women who desperately want to have children. They are experiencing a heartbreaking complication. They need an abortion to protect their life, their health, and their future fertility, and they are not getting that in Idaho. They're being airlifted out at 1 person a week. My snapshot report also highlighted that OB and GYNs are fleeing Idaho because how difficult it is for them to be effective at delivering care under this draconian law. Mark my words, even though President Trump said at the debate that the court fixed this, they didn't fix anything. It is creating deserts, it's pushing people across the border to our state, and it found even that from some of the providers there that Idaho rape survivors are being denied a Plan B pill to stop unwanted pregnancies. So the Washington-Idaho border is a microcosm of the havoc that these laws are wreaking on those states and even on pro-choice states. Tomorrow, the women senators will be releasing a report highlighting the devastating impacts of the Dobbs decision across the nation. At least 23 million women of reproductive age nationwide live in states with abortion bans. That's 23 million women who won't have access to care if they become pregnant and need to have an abortion. Donald Trump knows that denying health care to these women is a losing position. That is why he tried to reposition the other night, claiming that he believes in exceptions. Well, the exceptions that he's talking about are a farce. Women, in reality, are in life-threatening situations and are being denied access to care. During the last week of presidential debate, Trump also said that you have to follow your heart. Well, these bans are heartless. We're hearing from women who have to travel with their children to faraway places and stay close to an airport that is close to a hospital just to keep down the cost of care. Consider the case of a pregnant woman in Idaho who woke up bleeding heavily and had to get airlifted out of the state for emergency treatment because her doctor said, quote, he wasn't willing to risk his career to help her. In a state where abortion is legal, this woman would have been treated, no question about it. And Trump saying at the debate, but nothing is great about treating women. He basically said that what had happened with Dobbs was a great thing. There's nothing great about treating women as a second-class citizen. 8 years ago, Trump said, quote, there has to be some form of punishment for abortion, end quote. And now he says states get to decide. But as my colleagues have said, Republicans have said no to protecting access to IVF, They have said no to contraception, and they have said no to protecting abortion rights. That's right, MAGA Republicans are stepping on your constitutional rights. That is why we have to ask our colleagues in the Senate whether they agree with that, whether they agree or they're going to stand up and help women get access to health care that they deserve.
Great job. And tomorrow, Maria will issue her report on this issue, which I think is very important. I hope people will give it a look.
Senator Schumer.
No, I want to call on woman first,
Thank you, Leader Schumer.
talking about abortion. Sure.
Are you confident that President Biden has what it takes to win in November and serve the next 4 years?
As I've said before, I'm with Joe.
Senator
Yes.
Schumer.
Based on the differences of opinion in the Democratic Party about the president, his ability to serve 2 more years, that there might be a challenge at the convention, and if there is there the ability to throw out the virtual nomination?
As I've said before, I'm with Joe.
Senator Schumer.
Yes, nope, don't yell, way in the back, right there.
I'm curious for your reaction to Senator Whitehouse and Senator Wyden's request that the Department of Justice appoint a special counsel to investigate Clarence Thomas. Is that something you'd support?
Look, the bottom line is the Supreme Court is way off the deep end, and in so many different ways, as we've documented today. And Senator Whitehouse, Senator Durbin have many ways of trying to get to the bottom of this, clean up the court in a variety of ways, and I'm looking carefully at all of them. Go ahead, Manu.
Senator Murray, who just left, made a statement last night saying that she believes that Biden needs to do more to demonstrate that he's strong enough to defeat Donald Trump, articulate a vision, and must seriously consider the best way to preserve his legacy. Do you agree with her sentiment?
As I've said before, I'm with Joe.
But Senator Schumer, doesn't
Thank
it
you,
leave
everybody.
Democrats in a difficult position? What do you say?